Hello from Hollywood. I'm Martin Grove, welcoming you to our Screendollars podcast, Box Office Autopsy. Right now, we'll look at the movie marketplace and analyze how things are going and where they're going, sharing some opinions from my perspective after decades of talking about Hollywood on CNN Entertainment Tonight and as a Hollywood Reporter columnist. No one expected this weekend to go into the record books, and it didn't. The marketplace continued to shrink with no new tentpoles being planted yet, but they're out there, and we'll be talking on today's Box Office Autopsy about a few that are upcoming soon. We'll also focus on how Doctor Strange 2 held up in weekend 3, and we'll explore media speculation that its box office decline reflects bad word of mouth. Well, maybe, but that's not what the exit polls are showing. Also ahead, we'll check out this weekend's openings of the period drama Downton Abbey: A New Era and the horror thriller Men. After which we'll plug in our Oscar Outlook spotlight and consider what the Academy's choice of next March 12th for the 95th Annual Oscars means for the overall awards season. But first, the box office. ComScore reports the marketplace total was a modest $75.2 million, down 20% from the prior weekend, but up 185% versus last year. What's hurting is the combination of Disney and Marvel's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness eroding week by week, and Focus Features' Downton Abbey sequel not overperforming. Nonetheless, ComScore's year-to-date tally is definitely favorable, with $2.45 billion, up 354.5% from last year's nearly $540 million. Multiverse continued in its top box office orbit with $31.6 million at 4,534 theaters, down only 49%. That's a major improvement from the prior weekend's 67% plunge. Looking back at weekend 3 of the original Doctor Strange in 2016, its $17.8 million was down 59% from $43 million in weekend 2. Its domestic cum through weekend 3 was $181.6 million. After just 3 weekends, Multiverse has done $342 million domestic and just over $803 million worldwide. The original's global total was $678 million for its entire run. Some media analysts have called Multiverse a victim of bad word of mouth and think its decline shows Marvel fans are rejecting its storyline. While that's possible, exit polls don't support that view. The exits for weekend 2 showed the top 2 boxes, excellent and very good, were 5 points over norm, and the definite recommend score was 7 points over norm, which just doesn't translate into fans hating the movie. Neither does Multiverse's 86% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes based on over 10,000 verified ratings. What could account for Multiverse's slide is that when a movie materializes to $187 million, there's really nowhere to go but down. Years ago, superhero movie fans would return in weekend 2 to see films again. Today, their second viewing will mostly be streaming at home for what appears to be free. And if it takes 45 days to do it, people don't seem to care. That won't be a problem for Focus Features and Carnival Films' Downton Abbey: A New Era, which opens second to $16 million at 3,820 theaters. That's the low end of exhibitors' expectations of 16 to 18 million, and it's way less than the 20 million that some Hollywood handicappers thought it might reach by overperforming. Internationally, Downton's done nearly 36 million, bringing its global cum to 51.7 million. The sequel reportedly cost 40 million to produce, including additional expenses related to filming during the pandemic. The original Downton reportedly cost from 13 to 20 million, depending on sources. If you're a Downton fan since the TV series debuted in 2010, here's a quick scene to enjoy.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Glare. No. Cover. Cool. Yes.
Carson?
Oh.
May I be of help? On va prendre celui-là, s'il vous plaît, Monsieur Ursel.
I thought maybe this one.
It makes you look like King Zog of Albania. Oh, perfect.
Oh, no. I wouldn't hear of it.
It was my choice, so I should pay.
Yeah, but I'm the one who has to wear it.
Thanks for your custom, sir. Both, you and your wife.
It helps that Downton's not streaming day and date. It's got a 17-day exclusive theatrical window before it hits Peacock. Other positive factors are its 85% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and its fabulous 97% RT audience score, indicating favorable word of mouth. It does, however, echo Downton's disappointing tracking, which didn't point to great playability. Looking at first-choice demos, its appeal is, not surprisingly, only to women, but older women are just equal to norm, and younger women are 1 point under norm. Men definitely aren't rushing to buy tickets. Under 25 men are 4 points under norm, and older men are 5 points under norm. The first Downton feature opened in 2019 to a royal $31 million. It took in nearly $97 million domestic, plus a little over $95 million international, for a worldwide total of $192.2 million. The weekend's only other wide launch was A24 and DNA Films' R-rated horror thriller Men, with just $3.3 million at 2,212 locations. That's right where exhibs were projecting with 3 to 4 million. Media analysts were a bit more optimistic with 3 to 5 million. Men's first-choice tracking scores support its low opening. All demos were below norm. Under 25 men were the best of the bunch with 2 points under norm. The critics were no help with a soft 75% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Its 48% audience score means rotten word of mouth. After 2 blah weekends since the Multiverse fireworks began May 6th, the box office will be back in action next week as the 4-day Memorial Day weekend delivers Paramount and Skydance Media's long-delayed Tom Cruise sequel, Top Gun Maverick. Between its world premiere on a Navy aircraft carrier in San Diego, where Cruise arrived by piloting his own helicopter, and with its dazzling Cannes Film Festival premiere with Cruise on the red carpet, Mavericks had a ton of global media publicity to help drive ticket sales. Maverick will benefit from great reviews. It's 96% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, which should help bring in a broader audience. It also helps that some critics are calling it Cruise's best film ever. Hollywood handicappers are still projecting Maverick to do 75 to 100 million over the 4-day holiday weekend. That's where they've been for weeks now, and while that's good, it's good, not great. The tracking shows its best first-choice demo is older men, followed closely by older women. The problem is their scores are about 2 times the scores for men and women under 25. So Maverick's not resonating with the younger moviegoers who are exhibitors' biggest audience these days. Here's director Joe Kosinski talking about what went into filming Maverick, including 6 hidden IMAX-quality cameras in fighter jet cockpits.
First thing we had to do was develop a motion picture camera that could fit in the tight cockpit of an F-18. So my DP and I, Claudio Miranda, worked closely with Sony to develop a new camera system called the Venice, which allows us to put very high quality motion picture cameras, in fact 6 of them, inside the cockpit of the F-18 to capture all the action of the film. So we have 4 cameras on the actor themselves. We have a wide angle, a tight, 2 over the shoulders, and then we have 2 cameras pointing forward, capturing the forward view. So we have 6 IMAX quality cameras inside the cockpit with the actors while they run the scenes.
Meanwhile, on the heels of a very good but not spectacular May, twin tentpoles will send June's box office to infinity and beyond. In Universal and Amblin's Jurassic World Dominion, opening June 10th, dinos and humans coexist on Earth. A week later, when Disney and Pixar's Lightyear lands, astronaut Buzz Lightyear will be ready to coexist with dinos at the multiplexes. Both films are tracking well, but Lightyear should play younger than Dominion. Here's a quick look at Buzz in action.
Buzz Lightyear mission log, stardate 3901. After a full year of being marooned, our first hyperspeed test flight is a go.
Who are you talking to?
No one.
You were narrating again.
I was not. Just doing the mission log.
You do know no one ever listens to those.
I know that. Narrating helps me focus.
Ready, Captain Lightyear?
Ready as I'll ever be, Commander Hawthorne.
This is exciting. A new adventure.
I'm gonna grant you 4 minutes to be off planet, but then you come right back to us. To infinity
and beyond.
It's good news that Under 25 Men, the demo driving our box office recovery, are the top demo for both the Dinos and Buzz, and they're each about 4 times the norm. The Dinos' next best demo at week's end was a tie between Over 25 Men, 12 points over norm, and Over 25 Women, 13 points over norm. Dominion's weakest demo is Under 25 Women, but there's still a sizable 12 points over norm. Lightyear's next best demo is Under 25 Women at 5 points over norm. Older demos aren't nearly as excited about seeing this animated Buzz Lightyear origin story. Over 25 Women are only 2 points over norm, and Over 25 Men are up by just 1 point. Unaided awareness tracking scores for Under 25 Men and Under 25 Women show Lightyear's strength from its origins in Disney and Pixar's Toy Story franchise. People know Lightyear without being prompted about it. Younger men were 3 times the norm, and younger women were nearly as strong. Turning now to this week's Oscar outlook, our focus is on the 95th Annual Academy Awards, which we finally know will take place next March 12th. But that's not good news. Once again, the Academy's picked a March date that guarantees another bloated and extended awards season. Oscar campaigning starts with May's Cannes Film Festival, where studios use costly premieres to put films into the early Best Picture conversation, like Top Gun Maverick and Elvis are doing this year. Because Academy members are notoriously reluctant to nominate mainstream movies for Best Picture, being in the global media spotlight is step one for mainstream movies. But frontrunners must survive nearly a year of combat in the awards trenches. As all the Oscar bellwethers start ringing, there's an endless pre-Oscars parade of the same contenders. The sameness of it all works against the Oscars since, by March, viewers feel they've already seen it all. The Academy's far-flung membership, over 25% of the voters are now based in 75 countries, favors small international dramas. Many of them aren't playing in theaters and are just streaming, making it especially difficult to get U.S. moviegoers to boost the Oscar telecast's sagging ratings. However worthy these films are, unless American audiences know them, they won't have a rooting interest in who wins. The Academy would benefit from choosing earlier dates for future festivities, since shrinking the award season could heighten interest in Oscars sealed envelopes. And while we're talking about far-flung films that aren't playing in theaters, here's one from Warner Brothers and Plan B Entertainment that isn't far-flung, but would probably help bring adult audiences back to the movies if it were to open theatrically. It's a very commercial-looking remake of the 1991 comedy drama Father of the Bride, with Steve Martin and Diane Keaton in that version, which was a remake of the 1950 version with Elizabeth Taylor and Spencer Tracy. The New Bride, with Andy Garcia and Gloria Estefan, will start streaming June 16th on HBO Max. This quick scene will tell you why it really deserves a theatrical run and would have made June an even bigger month at the box office.
Sophie?
She's not here yet.
Fathers play a big role in their daughter's life. It's a special bond that only they share.
Hello?
And even when she's all grown up, she's still Daddy's little girl.
Dad? I have something to say. I'm engaged!
Wow. Congratulations, baby!
And I propose.
Wow. You proposed? Okay. You proposed?
Yes.
You proposed to him? He didn't propose to you? Can you do that? Does anyone do that?
That's it for today's podcast, but let's do it again next week right here on Box Office Autopsy, when we'll see how Top Gun Maverick and the Bob's Burgers movie open. Please join us again then, and thanks very much for listening. Time now for our film flashback look at what was happening in Hollywood right around now, way back then. Let's set today's time travel dial for May 23rd, 2017. Sir Roger Moore, who died May 23rd, 2017 at 90, is remembered for succeeding Sean Connery as James Bond, which he did and didn't do. As Bond buffs well know, it was George Lazenby who briefly followed Connery as Bond in 1969's On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Lazenby, who hadn't meshed well with Eon Productions partners Albert R. Broccoli and Harry Saltzman, thought Bond would fade with the rise of youth appeal hits like The Graduate and Easy Rider. Telling his agent he was uncertain about continuing led to his demise, despite having previously been offered a deal to play Bond in 7 episodes. Connery was persuaded to return as Bond for the 6th time in 1971's Diamonds Are Forever, after which Moore actually did take over for Connery, starting with 1973's Live and Let Die. Moore couldn't have done so any sooner, having been fully committed to British TV mogul Lew Grade's hit series The Saint. He played Simon Templar, an English Robin Hood-type crime fighter created in the 1920s by British novelist Leslie Charteris, and also was a series producer and director. The Saint, which aired 118 episodes from 1962 through 69, made Moore the perfect solution to recasting Bond. Moore has said he didn't want to think about playing Bond until it was settled that Connery had definitely decided to give it up. And when Moore came on board, he was no Connery carbon copy. Where Connery, a famously proud Scotsman, was a departure from the English gentleman in the pages of Ian Fleming's Bond novels, Moore fit the role splendidly well. Moore's Bond was a custom-tailored playboy type who always seemed to have a gadget on hand to save the day. The Moore Bond became known for witty one-liners since, as Moore once explained, he played the role mostly for laughs and not as a cold-blooded killer type. To play Bond on screen, however, Moore had to lose weight and cut his hair, about which he made no secret of being unhappy. But in return, he starred in 6 more Bond films: The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974, The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977, Moonraker, 1979, For Your Eyes Only, 1981, Octopussy, 1983, and A View to a Kill, 1985. When Moore revealed December 3rd, 1985, he was retiring as Bond, he'd had the role for over a dozen years. Moore's 7 times as Bond is the record for Eon's franchise. However, technically, Moore's tied with Connery, because Connery played Bond one more time in 1983's non-Eon production, Never Say Never Again, which became Connery's 7th time out as Bond. And that's it for today's podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with another Box Office Autopsy next week. In Hollywood for Screendollars, I'm Martin Grove.